Hello, historians. Today we are looking at our Pivotal Moments research project. I'm going to be looking at it through the eyes of a student so that you can begin accessing academic sources through the LibGuide that our district provides, and see how you can access the assignment number 7 resource citation page digitally. So I'm logged in here as a student. And here is today's announcement, and there's a link here that I will show you how to use, but there's also here some classwork that's been assigned. It's the Pivotal Moment Project Assignment 7 Resource Citation. So I'm going to want to make sure that I open that up, and I have that tab open here. And if this looks really small on your screen, then you'll want to make sure you can zoom in a little bit better. This will allow you to access the text boxes here, and you'll be able to highlight and paste in your sources. There's also an optional digital version of assignment 8 where you can type notes if your teacher gives you permission. Otherwise, you have this page in your packet to write. You can handwrite your notes. So I'll cover that here in just a minute. So that you want to make sure you have this page, this assignment open and ready to go. I'm going to take you to this. This is not a clickable link through this assignment, so you'll need to make sure that you go back to the tab up here that has your classwork and go back to stream. Your assignment is still right there, but here in the stream you have this clickable link to our project resource. There's a lot of different spots here to go to. There's a lot of helpful information. What you're going to want to do though for this part of the project is go here, and you'll need to go to e-resources. When you're in e-resources for this project, this right here is our LibGuide. There are quite a number of really great options you can use for databases that contain all kinds of articles that you can use to research your topic. One of the really good ones is this U.S. history database. I like using that one a lot. The teen edition is awesome. Even the primary edition of Explora is great as well. I know it sounds really kiddish, but this is a great place to go as well. I'm going to start with the U.S. history database. I'm going to go here, and in assignment 5, you had to make sure you wrote down and brainstormed some keywords that you can use to search for your topic. So if I was going to do the research for the sample project, the sample assignment about Rosa Parks, I could use words like Rosa Parks arrested. Okay? And there might be quite a few different options for me. So here's another image of Rosa Parks she gave up, and I'm going to need a second image for my project, so that would be really kind of a cool thing to do. There's audio, which is kind of cool if you have headphones, but it's really hard to take notes as you listen to adults talk about something like that. So there's all kinds of different options here. I might want to pick one and see if this article here would be a good one to get some background information. And I'm going to do that by looking at RADCAB. That's assignment number, it's assignment number 6. So if you look at assignment number 6, as we go through this, you'll need to make sure that whatever article you pull up when you do your search, you need to make sure that that article is relevant. Does this source have the right kind of information related to the topic? Does this source have information on Rosa Parks? Does talk about how on December 1st, 1955, Mrs. Rosa Parks was arrested when she refused to obey a city ordinance that required her to give up her seat to a white person when ordered to do so by the bus driver. So this does give some background information. It will also give some interesting information about her church, that this sparked the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott, and that boycott led to other boycotts in other cities across the South. and in future years, 1957. So this actually then goes all the way into the boycott, the bus boycott, the Supreme Court victory, all kinds of other things. So this, I think, if I'm going to go by R for RADCAB, it is relevant. Is it appropriate? Is the source PG? Is it suitable for academic research? Absolutely it is. And one of the things that we can usually assume, this is why we don't allow you to just Google search your topic for information, that we have you go to the e-resources tab, because all of these options here are going to lead you to appropriate academic resources. Okay. Detail. Does this source provide enough information? I think it does. I think it gives me, even in this first paragraph, quite a good amount of information on Rosa Parks. If I needed more, I do need to have more than one source. I have to have at least 3 to get an A. So 2 are required to pass. So I will, if it didn't have quite enough, I can certainly find another one that can add to whatever I feel is missing. Is the source up to date? Well, that's a great question. This one was printed in 2001, copyright 2007, so they printed it again. It is about a historic topic, so I feel like this still works, even though it is a little bit older, but it still works really well because it contains all the information I need. The author, this is from U.S. History and Context, the American Decades. There's all kinds of information on that as well. Okay, and then bias. This is pretty straightforward. I don't see much bias where it's like leaning one way or another, like either politically. It doesn't seem to have any like negativity towards one group of people or another. So I think that this really truly fits my RADCAB checklist for assignment 6. I could check off all of those as yes, and I would be able to then take this article and I'd be able to use this to take notes. But one thing I have to make sure I do is I need to cite this source if I'm going to use it. That brings us back to this assignment. You need to have 2 required sources. You can just highlight that and you'll be able to paste right over it when you go back to this tab, get your citation tool, and here it is. Now, sometimes, depending on the type of paper you are writing, you will use MLA for your citation, but for a history research assignment, you will need to use APA. That's the preferred choice for citation for this type of project. So all you have to do once you have that up is Command C for copy after you've highlighted it, or select and then Command C. That means copy, and then go back up in your tabs to your actual academic source citation assignment and go Command V, and that is your cited source right there. So number 1 source for me is this Black Church Leaders in Civil Rights, 2001. These are the authors that put this together. They work for this publication, and this is where we got it from. Okay, I'll need to find more, but while I'm on this one, I'm going to show you some ways that you can use that source to then take some notes on your topics to provide the who, what, when, where, why that's required. So this, you're going to save this top thesis statement till you have all your background information ready to go, and then you can choose to type this pivotal moment shows the American value of blank because blank, but I'm going to make a new text box and I'm going to start typing information that I can find about my picture that I did research, Rosa Parks. I can type that information, or I can handwrite it onto the assignment 8 in my actual packet. If I keep it at 14, it might get kind of squished. So I'm going to start at 12. And sometimes it's easier for me to see what I've typed on this kind of document if I change the color a little bit, and that's fine too. So I might type in Rosa Parks. I might write down some others like, let's see, Black Americans, Supreme Court gets involved, Black community. I can scroll down. We could talk more about Martin Luther King Jr. So maybe I want to, maybe I want to add like Black community. Okay, these are different people that I can see are involved, and I got this from source number 1. So I'll make a little text box here and I'll type a 1 in there because I've cited the source that I'm using. This is my number 1 source cited here, source number 1. So I need to make sure I identify where I got my information. And if I use another source to add to this, then I would do a comma, and if I use my second source and I get more information to add, then I would add another number to that, depending on that. But for right now, I got it from source 1. Okay, I need another text box. What happened? Now, if you are going to take some information directly and copy and paste, that can be okay as long as you put quotations around it, or you can summarize it in your own words. So you could say, also we need to know who, what, when, where, why. I can already tell where. Okay. Where Montgomery, oh, is that how you spell Montgomery? I'm going to double check. I know the person on the, yep, Montgomery, Alabama. So Montgomery, Alabama, when 1955 was when this happened, and even more specific, it said December 1st, 1955. Okay, and I can start typing in some of my information. I can go here and I can make this text box bigger and I can highlight that, and I'm going to start typing in some of the what or where or why. Rose, what I like to do is I like to highlight and copy, Command C, Command V. So then this is a quote, and then I can reword that in my own words. So I added quotation marks, and I could say Rosa Parks refused to move from her seat when a white person came on the bus. This broke a city law that required African American bus riders to give up seats to white bus riders when the bus was full. Okay. And then ultimately, if I'm starting to run out of room, that's okay. You can just click on this and push return, and you can continue to add text for notes, and you can just keep typing. You can also just keep writing. If you're doing this by hand, you can add some post-it notes to this page. You could staple another extra piece of paper to the back, or and do more. You're not limited to this space, but make sure that you are also still citing your source. I'm also using source number 1 for this. Okay, so there you go. That is how we use the academic source citation page. I showed you how to cite a source and access the sources. There's other really good places where you can do other searches. This is a great example. Okay, there's biographies, there's other photos, and these are going to be at a little bit lower level reading. Okay, so that might be easier for some of you to start with. Okay, so there's all kinds of options. I hope that you found this information helpful. Have a great day.